To break down systemic racism a little bit more and try to understand why everyone proclaims they're repeating 60s and 70s music, nearly repeating, restarting, and stopping in a noticeable way here on Capitol Hill each week with someone in their home playing music so loud the walls would shake next door here now. For the entire neighborhood to hear and be a part of the same songs over and over again. And what this has to do with going into systemic racism a little further has to do with the system of language. And systemic racism being the demand by the social activists, political seeking people. Language with racism and the system of words and letters and sentences and grammar in the words of what's being said now has to be limited, controlled, and restricted. A professor in a university just said recently she will no longer let a student sit in her classroom and learn should they say the wrong sound out loud, who make a noise determined by her list to be inconsiderate and full of inequality. In a system of education she's a part of now, with dimples in her cheeks, black and white stripes, and what I'm talking about has to do with systemic racism instead being used more as an option of control. A system itself with people who decide what's racist in the system, how it gets changed, and then there's no problem. The violence from the war happening now with this civil demand to meet the needs, to get on a knee, to stop being a police officer, are incomplete. Scary and plain old terrifying. To feel safe and secure and calm in a system with rules, restrictions, and control methods used against other humans, other people, inhabitants of the same planet called Earth, floating in outer space. I had a neighbor recently say, "Oh, I hear you talking over there all the time." And I get consoled and told I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna do all right. In a similar manner, not recognizing how far advanced the world has gotten with technology and video recording, and how unrestrained a life lived within limits has benefits like a stuffed animal service sloth. And how someone who's mildly autistic can cause someone so much confusion. From the sounds they hear in their ears. These are the same people who set the limits and control and restrict with their social group. The thug down there, smoking his pack of cigarettes and drinking his booze. And the well-respected, door-kicking lover of the woman down there over across the hall. There's a simple exit to this problem of so many people trying to figure out other people and trying so energetically to control and restrict and observe and watch and then fix those around them now, including their colleges, their universities, their doctors' offices, and the businesses to have drugs available and not need a prescription to make their world conscious now. Where I live now in Seattle, Washington, in this apartment building where people have to be on Social Security, disability income, or Social Security to live here now, from a mental health organization, and from every other psychiatry, psychologist, business I've seen so far, the people who are getting services have made a world with no exit. A place with a system for interacting, living, breathing, and eating, where nobody gets well and instead get to be happy and emotionally free. Who don't ever go to work, who don't ever go to a library at the university and pay $100 to find a better choice than waiting to die, than getting ready for death in an apartment and not being a part of the world they've all decided makes no sense to be a part of now. People are choosing similar choices now with the systemic racism, declaring no benefit to having a system in place where people don't get shot and killed or freaking have someone kick their door in and stab them to death because they're singing in their kitchen. Or to get thrown down a stairway because some woman says to the man down the hall, "I feel bothered." And he loves her more than I like her abuse. And I'm disfigured with scars and doctor bills, hospital procedures. A world without a system has a person behind the hands now. And in front of the hands, the video being observed now through the eyes and heard through the ears are the limits for what's possible. And the choices to be made with all of the information seen by the person behind the hands. And all of the data collected for the racism to be eliminated, for the distraction to be stopped now. A systemless world would be a place nobody can ever explain now. Nobody can ever talk about now. Nobody can ever be free now. The end.